G'day, Shane here. I'd like to share with you a parable that I wrote. Normally, I write copious amounts of poetry, but uh, this day I was just inspired to write on some thoughts about some things, and it's to do with that sense of longing, or that sense of feeling as though we're missing something in our lives, that we yeah, we've got a successful life, we're doing really well, but there's just something that we're not quite connecting to in our lives. Um, so I'll read you the prose, or the piece. I call it a parable because it came out a bit like a parable, something that you would expect Jesus perhaps to say. It's called Lost Keys. We're like the man who lost his keys. We search and search until we go into panic. We check all our drawers, we check every hiding spot. We enlist the aid of others to help us look. They ask, "Where did you last have them? What did they look like?" They hold up various bunches of keys. "Are these your keys?" You know they're important keys. You can't function without your keys. You can't open doors to get to what you need for functioning in life. You know you need them to get back into your home. It's not until you stop your frantic searching, and it's not until you still your desperate mind, it's not until you sit and listen and visualize the keys, then the memory softly returns. Bit by bit it dawns on you. Then, with an almighty roar of relief mixed with joy, you remember where they are. They were in your pocket all the time. We're all a bit like the man who lost his keys. We've lost our keys to eternity. We hunt everywhere, every drug and distraction, everything that gives a temporary taste of heaven, every addiction. It's not until we learn to go within that we find we had it all along, until we awaken and remember heaven is our home. Be still and know that I am God. We always have the keys right here with us. Maybe it's time to stop the panic and look in our inner pocket. Now, the idea behind this is that we spend most of our lives chasing fame and fortune, or at least success, and to look good in the eyes of others. I know it was very much impressed into me growing up as a child, that it was important to be a responsible adult, to grow up into a responsible adult and carry your load and be seen and respected by the community as somebody who contributes. And I felt a lot of pressure put on my shoulders because of that, because I ended up going down wrong tracks, thinking this will give me respect or that'll give me respect, but they were never really true to the person that I am. Um, a lot of it was to do with putting yourself up in front of others, and being a great public speaker, or highly respected within the church. I became an elder and youth group leader, studied lay preaching, um, and eventually became a counsellor, which are all good and worthy things to be, but in a lot of ways they weren't really who I am. They were me putting on a mask to show the world a false me, if you like, someone that I believe would get respect. But deep inside, I never really felt happy. I never really felt comfortable with who I was. And it wasn't until I did a little bit more searching and trying to understand more about my own personality that I realised that I'm actually, believe it or not, an introverted person. I mean, yes, I can put on the bluff and bluster, and I've got a bit of a wacky sense of humour, and I get plenty of attention that way. But when it comes down to it, I tend to withdraw more than put myself out there. And I don't know whether that's part of the creative soul, whether that's part of being someone who needs to go within to actually be able to express themselves. But that's what I came to realise, and that's what I found was where I found real solace in my life. So I guess what the parable is expressing is that sense that sometimes we need to let go of all those things outside of us and actually take a look at what really makes us tick within. Maybe we are a person that loves to be community involved and do all those things to help others, which is, like I said, great stuff. But what's our motivation? Is it to get recognition? Is it to be praised by the community, held up as somebody who is a responsible adult, or is it out of a sense of love for others? Is it our impelling force that makes us want to actually help others? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we can spend a lot of our life not being true to ourselves by trying to find those things that others tell us are important, and try to lift ourselves up that way. But we'll always feel as if we've lost our keys. We'll always feel as if we haven't really got the key to our inner self, and that key is self-love. And so by understanding ourselves, by getting in contact with ourselves, by understanding our place in eternity, we can actually start to mend ourselves and become a whole person in ourselves, because we realize that we are a spiritual being first. The physical stuff is the expression of the spiritual, but we need to actually get back to that spiritual core within us first, which is God expressed in the shape of a man. We lug around these meat suits and perform the things that we need to perform in our lifetime. But until we get back to the core of our spiritual self, to our soul, then we are going to miss the mark, if you like. It's that old archery term, to sin. Missing the mark is sinning. When we're not being true to ourselves, we're actually sinning because we're missing the mark of the truth of who we are. So I guess what I want to say to you today is find your keys, look within, become a better person by knowing the God within you, and that'll make a big difference to your life. In fact, it's really changed my life around. I mean, I spent many years trying to find myself, and it wasn't until I awakened to the fact that I am God incarnate through Shane, and that I am actually, I have at my hands the whole of God's creative power if I tune in and learn how to use that correctly. So, yep, a few things to think about there. Anyway, I'll leave it with you, and love and light, and have a great day. Okay, see you.